And here is your video review for the quiz that will be taking place this Friday in AP US History. That is Friday the 31st of October, Scary Halloween test. Things you need to know for this quiz. First of all, you need to know about why the Lewis and Clark expedition was significant. We talked about that. You need to know who George Clinton is. He was a vice president twice. You should know that. You need to know what Essex Junto was. That was that Federalist conspiracy to break away from the Union. And they had Aaron Burr try to become the governor of New York to get that. You need to know why Aaron Burr challenged Alexander Hamilton to a duel and what was the result of that duel. You need to know about the Chesapeake and Leford affair. It was a British warship that took down an American warship, or sorry, not took it down, but boarded it and killed some Americans, impressed them. You need to know what impressment was. That's when the British would force somebody to become a British sailor against their will. You need to know about the Embargo Act, which made it so that you could not export any goods from the United States, and know how that had to do with loose construction and strict construction of the Constitution. Still need to know what a strict and loose constructionist was, what the difference was. Remember, one thought you could do anything as long as it was not forbidden in the Constitution, and the other one thought that you had to specifically give you that power in the Constitution. You need to know about this Virginia dynasty that people were afraid of when James Madison became president. 3 out of 4 presidents so far had been Virginians. And you know some things that you could tell me about Jefferson as a president. What was his legacy? The expansion of the United States and keeping the country out of war with France and England. You need to know about Macon's Bill number 2 as a replacement for the Non-Intercourse Act and what it said. Basically, it said that, look, we are not going to trade with either Britain or France, but if either one of us agrees, or if one of them agrees to respect us, then we'll trade with the other one, or with that one and not with the other one. And remember how they got around that? Napoleon agreed, and he said, "Yeah, we won't take your ships," but he just ignored that and took our ships anyway. So he was a dirty liar. You need to know about who the war hawks were. What did it mean to be a war hawk? And I give you 2 specific war hawk leaders. You need to be able to name at least one of them. Henry Clay and John C. Calhoun. You need to know about the Battle of Tippecanoe. What happened there? It was basically a slaughter of Indian women and children. And you need to know who Tecumseh and who the prophet were. The prophet's real name was Tenskwatawa. I can't pronounce it either. It's a very hard name to pronounce, so that's why we call him the prophet. You need to know why we went to war with Britain instead of France. You need to know about the Battle of, also with the Battle of Tippecanoe, you need to know about William Henry Harrison. You need to know about why we went to war with Britain instead of France, and kind of what happened during the war. I'm only going to ask you about the battles of Washington, the Battle of New Orleans, and the invasion of Canada. Why didn't our invasion of Canada work? Well, because we were attacking the wrong place. We should have concentrated on Montreal. What happened at the Battle of New Orleans? Well, it was even after the war was over, but we still managed to save New Orleans from being routed, and that was big. And it was a group of irregulars made Andrew Jackson absolutely famous. All right, Battle of Washington D.C. You need to know about. They captured the Washington D.C., burnt down the Capitol and the White House, but they didn't capture anybody. They just burnt down some property. And Francis Scott Key, he wrote the Star-Spangled Banner during the War of 1812 at the Battle of Baltimore. So I guess I'll probably ask about that, but that's more about the Star-Spangled Banner than the battle. All right? You can probably guess how that battle ended by thinking about the song, the Star-Spangled Banner. You need to know what the Treaty of Ghent was. And since we've been spending a long time talking about the War of 1812, you should know what the Treaty of Ghent did. But you need to know what the results of it were. You need to know some things about Madison and his legacy from the War of 1812. What did the War of 1812 do for us? It made it, it pointed out that we were a strong nation that was not going to back away. All right. We're also going to talk on Thursday probably about westward expansion. When we talk about westward expansion, we're going to talk about Andrew Jackson and the Trail of Tears. Basically Jackson as a president, what he was like. There will be a video of that on your YouTube channel, and a lot of the information is going to come right from there. You're going to need to know, though, about the Trail of Tears. You're going to need to know about Andrew Jackson's election, the first election he ran against Adams, and the corrupt bargain that Adams struck. And then you're going to need to know about how Jackson won the second election and some of the things that he did, which we'll talk about in class. But know about the presidency of Andrew Jackson and the start of westward expansion. The Trail of Tears, if we get to it, will be on the test. I'm not 100% sure we'll get to it, but if we get to it, it will be on the test. What was the Trail of Tears? What was the Indian tribe that was moved? What happened? And if you study all of those things, you will be in good shape for the quiz on Friday in U.S. history.